Please like and subscribe for more. A quiet village near the banks of the Volta River in Ghana, where the earth is red and the mornings begin with rooster songs, there lived an old couple whose love became a legend. Their names were Kofi and Abina. For more than 60 years, they farmed the same small piece of land at the edge of the village. The farm was not large. It did not make them rich, but it fed them, clothed them, and most importantly, it kept them together. Every morning before sunrise, Kofi would wake first. His bones were stiff, his back bent from decades of working the soil. Yet he would turn gently to his wife and whisper, "Abina, the land is calling." And Abina, even in her old age, would smile and answer, "Then we must answer." Together they walked slowly to their farm. Kofi tended to the cocoa trees and yam mounds. His hands were rough, hardened by years of labor. Abina planted okra, peppers, and groundnuts, humming songs passed down from her mother. But their love had not always been easy. When they were young, many doubted them. Abina's family said Kofi was too poor. Kofi's relatives said Abina was too stubborn. The village whispered. People warned them. Still, they chose each other. One year, a terrible storm struck the village. The winds howled. The rain poured without mercy. By morning, their farm was destroyed. Crops flattened, yams uprooted, cocoa branches broken. Abina stood in the mud and wept. Kofi held her hands covered in soil and rain, and said, "If the earth takes everything from us, it will not take us from each other." That night, beneath a sky filled with stars, they made a promise. "When my time comes," Abina said softly, "I will not stay long without you." "And I," Kofi replied, "will not let you walk to the ancestors alone." Years passed. Their hair turned white. Their steps slowed. The village grew. Children moved to the cities. New houses were built. But Kofi and Abina remained, like two old trees growing from the same root. Then one harmattan season, when dry winds blew dust through the air, Abina fell ill. She could no longer walk to the farm. Kofi stayed by her side. He cooked for her. He fed her light soup. He told her stories of their youth. "Do you remember," he asked one evening, "how you said my planting rows were crooked?" Abina smiled weakly. "You were always watching me instead of the ground." They both laughed softly. But as days passed, Abina grew weaker. One quiet dawn, as the sky slowly turned gold, she squeezed Kofi's hand. "It is almost time," she whispered. Tears filled Kofi's eyes, but his voice remained steady. "Then I will follow." As the roosters crowed that morning, Abina took her final breath. The village mourned. Women wailed. Men removed their caps in respect. Word spread from house to house. Abina was gone. Kofi did not shout. He did not collapse. He sat beside her body, holding her hand. "You said you would not go far," he murmured. 3 days later, on the morning of her burial, Kofi asked to visit the farm one last time. Supported by 2 young men, he walked slowly through the fields. He touched the cocoa trees. He pressed his palm into the red soil. "This land kept us," he said. "Now it will keep us again." They brought him back to the village. He sat beside Abina's wrapped body as the funeral drums began to beat. The prayers were being said. The village gathered around. Kofi leaned gently against his wife, and before the final prayer ended, his breathing slowed and stopped. The elders shook their heads in quiet understanding. "It is not sorrow," one of them said softly. "It is a promise." They were buried side by side beneath a great baobab tree overlooking their farm near the Volta River. In the seasons that followed, their cocoa trees bore fruit more richly than ever before. The villagers would point to the farm and tell their children, "Love the land, love each other, and keep your promises." And sometimes, when the wind moves gently across the fields at sunrise, people say they still hear 2 old voices calling to each other. "The land is calling, then we must answer." Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more.